Hello everyone, this is Steve Pollitt. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to another valuable lesson, valuable message. Today, I was contacted by an article writer for Forbes magazine. She wanted to know my insight on advising companies on how to move from strategy to implementation. And I got to tell you, I loved that question. Why is that? Well, very simple, because it ties right back into another video that I did not long ago called the gold formula. But let me explain. Most companies have strategy sessions, and they come to some conclusion regarding maybe new product introduction, increasing market share, improving profitability, maybe all three of those and more. The problem is that they don't clearly define the outcome, the target. So let's say, for example, a company's doing $100 million in sales. And by the way, this applies to an entrepreneur. Maybe you're doing $1,000 a month in sales and you want to do $10,000 a month in sales. Doesn't matter, the points are the same. $100 million in sales, and let's say the company has 10% market share. And they want to increase their market share to 12% or by 20%. So they're going to go from 10% to 12%, which is a 20% increase in market share. And if the math works, their revenue would go from 100 million to 120 million. Get that? Now, I don't know what the profit margin is, and that's not the point of this particular message, except to say that they need to have a profit focus at the same time that they need to have a market share focus. So it's not just about increasing the revenue, it's about increasing the revenue profitably. Now, you take these numbers and you say, if we're going to do an additional $20 million in the next 12 months, what do we need to do by month, and then by week, and then by day to hit that? You begin to see, you convert the goal, the target, into very specific action steps that can be measured. Everything has to be measured. So the whole organization needs to be in step with the strategy. Same is true for an entrepreneur. If you're in the real estate business and you want to increase the number of buy, fix, and flips that you're doing, or the number of buy and hold properties that you're acquiring, you need to have a very specific target. And then you're going to say, what steps do I need to take to make that happen? Who do I need to connect with? What money am I going to need? Where's the money going to come from? What's going to come from debt? What's going to come from partners? All these sorts of things. Businesses, large and small, need to do the same thing. So back to my $100 million example, and I'm using that purposely because I want you to understand that in an organization, there's many more pieces and parts. There's a lot more people, there's a lot more systems, but it still boils down to some very fundamental points that you need to follow to make things happen. Every department, every job needs to progress in sync with the overall target. And if it doesn't, then the target's going to be missed. So each day, each week, there's different measurements that are going to be evaluated and saying, how are we doing in comparison to the goal? Plan actual variance. Plan actual variance. At the corporate level, at the department level, at the individual job level. And when you do that, and you define the action steps that will result in you achieving your target, and you identify when you're off target, because you will be, whether it's an individual department, job, total company goal, whatever the case might be. There will be days, there will be weeks, maybe even months when you're off target. But you need to know, and you need to know where, you need to know why, and you need to know what to do to bring it back in alignment. And there are formulas you can follow, very specific steps when you're out of alignment and when you're exceeding the target. What do you do when you exceed the target? There's formulas for that as well. A little beyond the scope of this particular video, but I wanted to share with you how business moves from strategy to implementation. And what does that mean for the organization? So that was the question. That was the question from Forbes today. How do you close the gap? That's how you begin to close the gap. I'm Steve Pollitt. Hope this is helpful. I look forward to your questions, comments. Love them. StevePollitt@gmail.com, 727-224-4743. Thanks again. I really appreciate your time.